Welcome back to Vbuzz. You're still here with me, Sharita and Jay. In our first interview, we had the legendary Amber Chia on, and we also have another well-known Malaysian figure. Joining us now is an award-winning actor and director who is best known for playing the antagonistic roles. But he's set to shed that image and put on a policeman's uniform for his next role. We're ready to sit down with Zahim Albakri to find out what his new role, his impressive directorial depths he's reached in musical, theatre and film. Welcome to Vbuzz, Dato.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure. I'm glad you're playing the nice guy right now, because you're so known for playing all of the antagonistic roles. But first and foremost, how did you get into acting?
How did I get into acting? I don't know. It's one of those things that I was listening to Amber just now. She knew she was from 7 that she was going to be a model. It's very similar stories. I was 5, I think, when I think I first told my mother that I wanted to be an actor.
Yeah.
So it's something that's there from, it felt a bit kind of predestined.
Oh, wow. Written in the stars.
No, but how I got into it was much later, when I was in my teens. I did sort of a few things earlier when I was a kid. There's some commercials, and there was a short movie about for the Red Cross. I did something. But in my teens, I guess the first stage acting I did was for the Selangor Philharmonic Society, and it was they would stage a musical at the end of the year in those days, and I think I was in the chorus of Cinderella. Pantomime.
Oh, wow, okay.
And how did you end up becoming a director and end up directing projects?
The directing was once I was at drama school. I went to drama school in the UK, in London. A place called Academy of Live and Recorded Arts. I started kind of dabbling in it because you would have to present scenes for class work and things like that. So so when you just have to direct yourselves in the scene. So so it was there that I started getting an interest in it, and then watching the theatre directors. But it was pretty early on. After I came back, I was I think the first thing I did was black comedy for not black comedy, sorry. Yes, black comedy for Instant Cafe Theatre Company, and there's that. And also I did directed a monologue for Ramli Ibrahim.
And did you find that you enjoyed acting, directing a lot more than you enjoyed acting?
It's very different. I enjoy both. And it's a very different kind of process. I mean, there's certain things, obviously, that is connected. But I do enjoy, I guess, not so much the directing of the actors. But I do enjoy that as well. But it's all the other aspects of it, which you have a say, the set design, the
little details,
all the other stuff, that goes around the acting.
And you mentioned Instant Cafe Theatre, of course. What was that experience like for you, meeting all of these different individuals?
It was amazing. It was an amazing time, because I think when I came back, I actually didn't think I would stay in Malaysia. I thought I would probably go back to the UK, where not go back, but go to the UK where I studied, and like all the other people in the acting course I did, and do the auditions and do the rounds there. So, but I came back and I found that I met people in Malaysia who were just kind of interested or wanted to act, wanted to do stuff.
Like-minded folks.
Yeah, and it was a production of actually Romeo and Juliet, which I was cast as Romeo. And from that production, that's where the core of Instant Cafe started. There was quite a few of the original members of Instant Cafe, the 4 main members, Joko Katas, myself, Jit Murad, and Andrew Leslie. We started it. We met there.
Great, fantastic.
And how would you say that boosted your career, being part of the Instant Cafe Theatre?
It was, it's an amazing, once you've done it, it's like trial by fire, because it really is the instant, and I gave the name to the company. I don't know why I gave you the instant. It really is. Sometimes the show, it's changing as the, we're
You just get
backstage
thrown
and
into
we're
the
judging
line.
the audience. Where and we say, okay, take this song out, put in this skit, do this, change the material, and which we have done, like it's backstage is really high energy, and there have been people who've been through that, who can't, who've been done one show and then just said, I can't do this, I can't handle this, and left. But the people who have, I mean, last year we did kind of a reunion show, and which was quite amazing. That and it is that it's like an alumni of people who've gone through this.
And does it take a certain kind of actor to be able to kind of excel in this sort of theatre, or like
I guess. I mean, you're sometimes. I mean, not all the time, because if you know the material, it's you really are thrown in, and it's like improvising as you as you go along. So it's kind of like live TV or. But yeah, it's fun though. I mean, it is it's high energy and it's fun, and the people that do it have to be a bit crazy. And actually, we started it, and I'd done training, formal training in acting in the UK, and then but that Instant Cafe itself is a training. It's a sort of form of training.
Something you learn along the way. Of course, high energy is something you associate with the Instant Cafe theatre, but also you all touched on certain controversial topics itself. Would you say that was the aim of it at the end of the day?
That was actually the aim of Instant Cafe Theatre. It wasn't actually. Our first shows were quite a variety of different things, and there were 16 performers, I think, in our first shows. That was at in Jalan Kiaping, it was at Bonton restaurant upstairs, and it was the audience. The audience feedback was that they liked the current material. The satirical, the stuff, the jokes on the politicians and the society, Malaysian society, and the Malaysian characters. That was the ones that the audience wanted more of that.
They propelled it.
And as Instant Cafe progressed, we sort of narrowed the kind of material to suit what the audience wanted. Actually.
And speaking about the audience, there's a certain kind of urban legend, or maybe it's a truth that one certain ex-prime minister of ours used to frequent the Instant Theatre Cafe a lot, that being Dato Sri Dr. Mahathir.
Not once.
Oh, okay. So there was this one time.
It was once, and basically we were performing at the Pan Pacific Hotel at the time, and I was in the lobby. And the rest of the cast were up in the dressing room doing things. I was in the lobby for some reason, and I see him enter and with his family and go up the stairs towards the restaurant. And I'm going, they hadn't told us.
Wow.
I think he hadn't told the restaurant that he was coming. They didn't want to pre-warn us. So I saw him going up the stairs. So I ran back, and this is exactly what I was saying earlier. I ran upstairs. So said, he's coming. Tonight's the night. And for some reason, at the time when he came. The show we were doing was very tame, in terms of the politics. I think it must have been a very uneventful time at the time in Malaysian history, and so we went. We can't have this show because it's too. If he's coming to see the show, we got to give him what he's expecting, right? So we actually changed the show.
Wow.
And put in material that we had done before. That he would relate to.
And do you know what his feedback was like for that?
I went up to the table afterwards and said, Dato, did you enjoy this? So he says, yes, very much. He says, the Black Mariah is coming to pick you up in the morning.
Oh, wow.
So he's also a comedian.
It's brilliant, when you get compliments like that, especially since you tweaked it to adjust, at the very last minute at the end of the day. But something that was definitely not last minute was the directorial debut, Split Gravy on Rice, which went on, to go to the International Film Festival in Colombo, Sri Lanka. What was that experience like?
I was very interested into finding out what the audience feedback would be with an international audience, and it was encouraging. It was one showing at a bit like the Colosseum, the Colosseum here in KL, the Rialto, I think it's called, and in Colombo, and quite a good house we had, and we didn't get much feedback, but I had a few people come up to me afterwards, and sort of give. Some said that was very inspirational, and a few other sort of comments which people, which were very encouraging, and the fact that they did laugh at certain points in the film, where because I was worried because the subject matter is very, very much Malaysian, which is why I'm kind of it's also quite disheartening for me, having worked in the film. I really want the film to be shown here, but unfortunately, we've been going through negotiations with the.
So were you surprised when it was picked up for the festival, though? With the content
yeah,
being so
I guess
Malaysian.
it was. There's a someone who is championing the film, and so he got us into. It was in competition. There was only one prize, but there were 10 films competing, Asian films.
Yeah.
I wanted it. I was glad it was in an Asian film festival, and the competition was. The films which I'd seen that were in the competition were great, really, and the winning film was just beautiful. It was really stunning from China. It was just an amazing film. But yeah, the films, unfortunately, stuck. We're still in negotiation with the censorship board here to have it shown here, because it is a Malaysian film, and I think it should be seen by Malaysians.
Yes, of course.
Now, Dato, you've gone on to win quite a few Cammys for your career in acting and directing as well. Is there a different kind of satisfaction when you win an award for being an actor or being a director, or are they just about equally as pleasing?
You don't do it for the awards, of course. But I guess there is a when you've done a particular piece of work which you is you put the effort in, and I think like when I won for best solo performance for a piece which I worked on with the late Christian Jit. It's called The Smell of Language. And the collaboration in that was quite an extraordinary collaboration, and the piece had been done by the original writer, Jose Sulaiman, very differently, and I had some thoughts on how I wanted to do it. And actually, we weren't supposed to do that piece. It was a two-hander. There was another piece called Notes on Love, Life and Painting, which I'd done before. Jose had directed. This time, Christian was directing. So he took a different take on that. And it was supposed to be just that one piece. And Jose had asked me if I would do it, restage that piece and with Christian directing. And I said, yes, but I would only do it if you let me do that other piece. The Smell of Language, which I had seen him perform, and I thought the writing is absolutely brilliant in Smell of Language. I really wanted to do that, but I didn't want to do it the way he did it, which was he did it very he just stood in one spot and just did the whole monologue in one spot. And I thought, no, I really wanted to take it out, and I spoke to Christian about that, and so we did, and we both have a love for old movies, and so that was reflected in the piece. So when you get when you do a piece of work like that, which means a lot to you, and both of us, Christian won Best Director for that piece, and I won Best Solo Performer.
Yeah, it's been a very illustrious and prosperous time for you as an actor, but of course something that a lot of people remember you by is for all the villainous roles that you've played. Could you tell us a bit more about, in your opinion, what makes for a great villain?
I think I don't know. I think it's something to do with the hairdo. I shaved my head, basically, this one year. And that whole year, I was just given villainous roles. I was...
Do you feel that once you carry a role well, you get typecast into a certain role? Like you mentioned, the whole year you were just playing villains.
Yeah, it was fun. It was, you get typecast, I don't know. I guess I looked like a villain. It is fun. It is. I think I prefer to play character roles anyway. Rather than play the lead. Early on, even playing Romeo, which was I find really to be a bit of a wet blanket. It's like and playing early days when I started doing TV, I'd be cast as the young male lead, in some dramas and things like that. To me, they're boring because you're just whereas the villain or there's usually some cameo eccentric character and things like that. Those are the more interesting roles for me. You know,
You've got a new movie coming out, Temuan Takdir, and you're playing one of the good guys this time. How different is it playing the protagonist?
It's not really. It's not. You just say good guy, bad guy. When you play a character, you know, I mean, I don't think villains see themselves as bad.
Yeah.
You know, everyone
just being
has,
them.
Yes, they all have reasons why they're doing it, and they justify. You know, people do things and they justify your actions. You know, to yourself in some way, right? So, whatever you do, whether it's good or bad, and who judges that whether it's good or bad is not usually it's not the person.
Spoken
themselves.
like a true actor, really getting into the scene to kind of delve into their psyche.
Yeah, it's you know it's that sort of aspect that interests me. It's that you don't judge the character.
Yeah.
You should. That's the one advice I give when I'm teaching. Acting is that you don't judge the character.
Okay.
You know, you're playing it. You be the character, but don't judge it. You know. So.
But with the film, Temuan Takdir, what is the film about exactly?
It's a crime. It's a crime kind of police crime story where. But what's interesting is that you see the other side of the police. You know, it's not just on the case the whole time. You see with ACP Roslan, you see the other side. You see what his home life. It's about actually two brothers who are both in the police force. So you see what his home life is like. Vanida Imran played my wife, and there's actually probably my favorite scene in the film is the one not the action scene or the cop playing the cop. I was out of uniform, you know. I didn't enjoy wearing the uniform. That was kind of cool, and I had a great scene with Jalaluddin Hassan, Dato Jalaluddin Hassan, which was.
It's on the desk.
I hadn't acted with him for a while, so that was cool to be with him. But my favorite scene is the scene at home. You know.
Oh wow.
Breakfast.
Gives a bit of
I make breakfast for my wife.
humanity to the character.
Trying to pujo her, you know.
That's a sweet scene. Taking a cue from your days in Romeo and Juliet, I think.
But how was it being directed by a first-time director?
It was quite interesting. There's a few. I think he's learned quite a lot during the shoot. I mean, I arrived on set thinking I was playing a supporting role, but I turned up on set for my first day. I'd been away and I came, and I was told that I would be now my role's a major role, and you know, and that's the first thing you don't do to it. Is that you think the actor's going to be pleased with it? I'm an actor that's no, I'm happy doing the cameo. Thank you very much. You know, I don't need any more scenes and any more dialogue. And he gave me pages, a scene where it's pages and pages of dialogue.
Wow.
And I think that it might have been that I'm an actor, I would like to have more lines. But actually, it's on film. It's the opposite. You know, you actually there's less is more.
Yes.
You know, the reaction shot is far more important than what you're saying.
You carry it more naturally as well. It sounds like a must-see film. So when is it coming out in the cinema?
11th of August.
Oh wow!
Yeah, just next month. But
and what are you hoping for the audiences to take with them from this film?
Well, I think it's got so many things in it. There's a love story. There's there's action. There's the crime, the solving of the. It's kind of a bit of that kind of thriller. You know, who's behind the whole thing, and so there's all kinds of there's a lot, and it's shot. I mean, some of the shots in it are beautiful. You know, there's some great shots of KL and Putrajaya and stuff like that done with shot by on drones and stuff. Wow. Really, it looks great, and I think it's a human. You know, it shows a different aspect of the police force. You know, so you see a more human side.
Yeah, you get to see it from a different light as well.
Well, we all look forward to watching it, I'm sure. Thank you so much for sitting down and speaking with us today, Dato.
You're welcome. Thank
you very much. An absolute pleasure, and good luck with the film.
Thank you.
We definitely have to catch it.
Yeah,
in
we
the
can catch it
cinema
in the
as well.
cinemas August 11th onwards, Temuan
That's-
Takdir.
That's right, but something you guys definitely need to catch up on is Vbuzz. Next week on Vbuzz, former badminton world junior champion and the CEO of the Purple League, Dato Jack Koh, joins us to tell us what it takes to make a champion.
We also discuss the importance of sexual and reproductive health awareness amongst young Malaysians and why we need to educate our youth.
And last week, we sat down with an Aikido expert to find out more about the Japanese martial art. And of course, on Monday, we'll be kicking off our V Arena series on Aikido to really give you a feel of the sport.
And as always, guys, please do keep writing to us at vbuzz@astro.com.my and follow us on Instagram at vbuzz_HD.
That's right. It's been a great show. Now, we leave you with the trailer for the upcoming Malaysian movie, Temuan Takdir. From me, Jay Walia.
I'm Sharita. Have a great evening.
Bye-bye.
Siapa yang bunuh Nara?
Peluru siapa yang bunuh dia? No, 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 no!
Bukan kerja amatur. Very clean job.
Nobody's perfect.
Okay.
I love you, you know.
Happy birthday to
Adakah Encik Bimal terdiri dari golongan orang yang percaya keamanan negara kita hanya tanggungjawab polis saja? Ataupun Encik Bimal percaya keamanan negara kita tanggungjawab setiap rakyat negara kita?